Happy holidays, everybody. Today on the workbench, we got some new stuff in for Christmas. Wanted to take a look at some of the items we got and possibly look at installing some stuff. One of the first things we got, Club 5 Racing. We picked up these limb risers for the Bronco. What this kit does is, here on the Bronco body, the real Broncos, you can get a kit to connect from here to here in what's called a limb riser. What it is it's a piece of wire that keeps branches from hitting your windshield and breaking the windshield. So as branches come across, it'll hit the wire and slide up and over the top of your vehicle. It's not anything that is necessarily required for an RC truck. It's really just there for scale detail and to make it look more realistic. This is what I call my scale trail truck, so I want to kind of make it look realistic. The other kit I got, again from Club 5 Racing, this is a spare tire tie down. So the plan for this is it comes with straps that allow you to strap around the tire, and then it's got a mounting kit so that you can mount it somewhere. My plan was to pop it right here in this empty spot. Now, I know that it does seem kind of silly to have a spare tire and a spare tire back here. However, I like the look of the little brake light back here, and because I already have this gas can mounted on the side of the spare tire, I didn't want to put this on here. So my truck will carry around an extra spare tire. It'll go up here on the top. It is more weight up on top, but I'm not concerned with it. Like I said, this thing is for fun. It's not for competition crawling, so it's going to get rolled over. I just mainly take it for trail rides and not looking to do hardcore rock crawling with it. But that's what we're going to try to work on today. Let's get some of this stuff out of the package and take a look at it. Let's get down to business on the limb riser. Notice here I have a new silicone work mat. This was a Christmas gift. It's pretty neat. Has places to store some of your tools. It's got spots for parts and pieces. There's even some magnetic spots, which are pretty nice. We're going to go over the limb riser kit. So Club 5 Racing provides you with this instruction manual. I've yet to see any online video tutorials, so we're going to go through this. It's like you need to drill a 1.8 millimeter hole in the body. That's going to be located just above the windshield mount. Essentially that is going to be right here and here. I'll figure out exactly where I want them to go once we get it going. You get some wire provided that already have clips on the end of them. They want you to double it up and cut it in half. Then you're going to do this 2 times because you're going to do it 1 for each side. You're going to drill the holes and attach with a M16 bolt, or excuse me, nut and bolt. It's going to be free hanging. You're going to do the same thing to the front section here. We'll have to drill a hole for that as well. Once you have both those sides free hanging, you're going to loop it through these springs in the middle and then use these pinch nuts, or whatever these are called, compression nuts. Loop it through, get it as tight as you want it to be. I'm assuming you want to have a little bit of tightness there so it doesn't just kind of go slack. And you're going to crimp it on. And you're going to take these wire sleeves, slide them on there, and heat them up to cover up all the hardware. Seems pretty simple enough. Let's open it up. See what we've got. I do recommend Club 5 Racing. It is a really great website with some custom products. They have products for Traxxas, Axial, Element. They have specific products for specific body styles as well. They do also have some just generic pieces that you can use elsewhere. This is actually for the Traxxas TRX 4 Bronco, but it is very similar to this New Bright body that I'm using, so these should work with no problem whatsoever. I have multiple items from Club 5 Racing, including the wheel weight extensions, the brass differential covers. I did get my mud flaps from them, but I'd had a bit of an issue with those. I ended up having to get my money back and made my own custom ones. So, out of the package, you've got your 2 wires. They already have the hardware installed on the ends and already have the nice little wire shrouds attached. We've got a 3-pack of stuff. Let's open this up and get it all divvied out. All right, we're going to place these springs here. These are the shrouds. Put them in there in a little bin. Now, since this stuff is metal, we're going to put these in the magnetic bin. Those will be the bolts. There's the nuts. These are aluminum, so I doubt these actually. I'll put these guys up here. All right. So, some of the tools you're probably going to need in order to do this. Most likely some sort of pencil or marking tool so that you can mark the holes that you're going to be drilling. You're going to need scissors for opening the package, or if you needed to cut these, or if you had your own. I've got a pair of wire snips to help cut these. You could probably do it with scissors, but it's probably going to dull the crap out of your scissors. So it's probably a good idea to use these. I've got a lighter for doing the shrink wrap. It's a common method for a lot of people. You can also use a heat gun. It is less likely to scorch, but as long as you keep the flame further away from the shrink wrap, you don't have to worry about scorching it. You're going to need a drill and the appropriate size drill bit. You're also going to need the truck itself. So, the first thing is to decide where I want these to be mounted. So if you look at them, they're actually flush to one side. So this is the flat side, this side, excuse me. So you probably want to have it so it's flush to the body. Probably looking at essentially going from here. I don't know if I'm going to go into the yellow or go into the gray. Might just do it right here. And come down, again, flush with this. Put the hardware out here on the outside. That should do the trick. The thing I want to check is on this body to see if I've got clearance inside here to put the nut. Now with the New Bright, the windshield is a separate piece from the roof. So I will have to make sure that I can get through both. I worry with the size of these that might be a task. We're We're going to have to find out. So first thing we're going to do is try to equally mark off where that hardware is going to be applied. Now there's a nice line already attached or built into this. I think what I'm going to do is just go above it and literally just pick this point right here. I'm not going to worry too much about measuring because I feel like I can eyeball this pretty well, but just in case, it might not be a bad idea. So we're about 5 millimeters above the line, and what is that? 3 millimeters from the seam. So eyeball that on the other side here. I want to say that's like right about here. Let's double check our math. Yep, 5 millimeters from the line. And 3 millimeters. I might need to come forward just a tiny bit. About there. All right, first thing we're going to do is follow the instructions. Double these up. And while you're holding these together, try to get them as straight as possible. I was going to use the wire snips for this. Find the center point. Now it doesn't have to be exact because you are going to be taking these pieces and looping them through the spring and then putting the compression bolt on, and you're probably going to end up snipping off the excess. Do that for the other side. Get it prepped and ready. And that's why I wanted to use the wire snips instead of the scissors, because it was a little tougher to get through. All right. Next up is to drill the appropriate size hole. Now that is a very, very tiny screw. So we're probably looking at the smallest bit in my bit box. Make sure we get it all braced and lined up. Clean up after ourselves. And drill the other side. All right. That should be the last that you need to use the drill for the upper portion. We do need to figure out where we're attaching on the lower section and drill the hole for that as well. Deciding if I want to put it right on the end, which probably is going to be the case. I'm not going to mark this one, I'm going to eyeball it. But what we need to do is go straight through these raised sections. On the new Bright Body, these do not have holes in them, but I believe on the Traxxas they do. We're going to center it up the best we can. Go nice and slow. There we go. And let's try to duplicate that on this side. Alright, it looks about even. Now what I want to test is, if I push that in, can I see it from the other side? So now I can, however, it is a very shallow bit. So I have to figure something else out for these. So what I believe I'm going to do is drill a bigger hole through only the windshield portion. So that way I can access just the layer of plastic that the body works with. So we're going to have to do this nice and slowly. I'm going to drill a hole into just the windshield until we get to the body. Now this is only something you need to do if you're using a new bright body and you have attached the windshield portion to the roof like I have, and I don't want to unattach. Now what I've successfully been able to do is go through just the windshield portion, so I should be able to get the bolt in there. All right, so we're going to work on this side. The bolt. Push it through the hole. All right. I've been able to get it to bite. However, I didn't make the hole big enough for me to continue tightening it properly. Just have to wedge this in here. Let's see how we did. Yep, I think I got it tight. So that's good news. All right. Take piece number 2. Need another nut and bolt. Now this one should be a lot more straightforward. We don't have to do anything for the inside. We've got a nice hole here ready to go. We just have to hold itty bitty little nut on the back. Do not drop any of these pieces. All right. Slide that hardware down. So now that these pieces line up with each other. Partially there. Now, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to dab some super glue on these joints. So that way, they're not going anywhere. Now, next part of the instructions require a spring, 2 of these compression sleeves, and 2 of the shrink wrap tubes. So it looks like it was trimmed hastily. I'm going to take this little edge off. So what you're going to do is you're going to want to get the compression tubing on first. Go ahead and just run it all the way up to the top. You need this piece on there as well, because you're going to feed that through later. It's important that all these pieces go on before you go through the spring, because we're going to come through the spring and into the crush like so. And we're going to adjust this to the distance we want. You're going to then smash this down, clip off this end, and then we're going to slide this over top and hide all of the hardware. Should be fairly easy. Now, let's do the same with this side so we can kind of eyeball these together and get them somewhat equal. I will do them one at a time, but I want to get an idea, because I don't want one to be too short and have one way too long. And again, like I said, I want to have some stretch on the spring. Not a whole lot, but I don't want it to go limp. So we definitely have that one favoring the top a little bit. So we're going to slide this down. I kind of like where that's going. Pinch it there. And I'm going to slide this closer. So the idea is you're going to want to get that as close as possible. You're going to want to trim this first, but I want to be able to get this to cover that like so. Let us look at this other side. All right. I think I'm satisfied with the way that looks. You're going to take a pair of pliers. I'm going to crush this piece here. Find if you kind of crush it at the front and back, then you can crush it more in the middle. Get an even, flat compression. So that should be snug. I'll go ahead and trim off the excess. Not going to be able to get completely flush. Of course, these cutters are a little bit dull. And that's what the shrink wrap tubing is to cover. Like so. I'll heat it up. I feel like this works. It says you simulate a tree branch. Again, that helps slide it up over the top. And again, these are not for actual, it's mainly just for show. Let's get this compressed. Ready for business. There we are. Let's trim. And this is why, again, this is important that you use these, put these sleeves on before, because once you've got this all closed off, there is no way you're going to be able to come back and put these back on, because they have to be looped on at the same time. I'll cover that. I'll cover that there. So now we're going to apply a little bit of heat. You kind of just touch it ever so slightly. Let it dance. You don't want to scorch it. And there's only so far it will close. There we are in business. We got one side attached. Now, I won't bore you with the details of messing with the other side since I unintentionally screwed up the hole. But essentially what I'm going to end up doing after I've filled this hole, I'm going to sand it down. I'm going to re-drill a hole through it. I do have the hole on the underside, so I should be able to repeat my process without causing any major issues. Again, since they're not structural pieces, it's mainly just for show. So when I come back, we'll have this finished up. And here we go, the finished product. I will recommend be very, very careful with the tiny little nuts that come with these, because they are easy to lose. I did drop the one for this side about 3 times and had to spend 20 minutes with my flashlight looking in the carpet for them. But here's the finished product. Got a little bit of a twang to them. This allows that when branches come by the vehicle, it sends them up and over the top. Again, it's not a functional piece as much as it is just a scale, cool looking piece to make it look more like a realistic vehicle. That's what I'm going for with this. I want it to look as realistic as possible. So next time we're going to take a look at the spare tire mount. Again, I'm going to look at putting it here. The process of that is finding the center point, drilling a hole through the top, attaching the hardware, Then there's straps that go around this, and then it'll bolt through the center of the tire. This allows us to carry the tire on the top. It's going to give us a cool look like the off-road vehicles that they take like in the Dakar rallies or whatnot, with extra spare tires on top and all extra luggage. That's what I'm looking for. So thanks for joining us again here on the workbench. This is Nichols RC Garage signing off. See you next time. See you out on the trails.